Greetings, everybody. This is another video from the Ordinal, coming to you from somewhere in Mexico, a rather beautiful, tranquil, serene part of Mexico. And today's sermon is, don't let your fears keep you in America. Don't let your fears keep you prison in America. So I always try to make videos that can possibly talk to somebody. I don't make videos just to make videos, just to be on YouTube. I really don't care to be on YouTube. That's why I don't show my face. I make videos that hopefully will talk to somebody, to mentally, stimulate them if they're if they're in a situation to where they're living in America, they may not be happy. They may feel that, no matter how hard they work, it isn't enough. And, just to let them know that there's solutions to that. There is solutions. You don't have to stay in America. A lot of people do stay in America because it's all they know. They don't know a foreign language. They don't, they may hear what, legacy media says about countries outside of America, but you'll be pleasantly surprised that, outside of America, life is actually better. Now, on my second video on this channel, somebody came and said, you're spreading misinformation, talking about how good, Merida is, and, blah, 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 and, it is racism here, and, it is, criminality, and granted, because people will be people. You know what I mean? Granted. I'm just speaking from my experience. I've been here a few weeks. So far, it's been good. Now, if it comes to a situation to where somebody comes up to me and call me nigga, then, I'll handle my business. You know what I mean? I'll handle my business. Until then, I'm cool. I'm respectful to everybody. Everybody's been respectful to me. So I can't, say that, there's crime and violence if I haven't, I'm not saying there is and I'm not saying there isn't. But from my experience, how I've been conducting myself, amongst, these people here, I haven't had any issues. And maybe it just may be an issue of self-conduct. Maybe, you conduct yourself in a way to where you cause that to come upon you, for somebody to be racist to you or whatever. Or it just may be that there's just bad people out there. Who knows? Who cares? So this video is talking about don't let your fears keep you in America. Because a lot of people think, well, I don't have the money to move. I don't have the means to move. I don't know anybody outside of a foreign country. How would I survive if I leave America because my job is here, my pension's here, what have you. I realize that if there's something you want bad enough, you can figure out how to get it. I learned that. If you really want to leave America, you really want to start a new life outside of America, if you want that bad enough, you'll do the footwork and the homework on how to make that happen. Because people do it every single day. Every single day, people leave America and they start a new life somewhere. You see what I'm saying? Why can't you? You know what I mean? There's people out there, you have people out there that, make a lot of money, right? I don't have a lot of money. I don't have any money at all, actually. But there's people out there that make millions of dollars. And some of them are young, some of them are old. And the thing is, that's what they really wanted. So they invested the time, the energy, and the discipline to get there. And it has to be the same thing with leaving America. You have to invest the time, the discipline, and the energy to get here, or to wherever you want to go outside of America. Now, you may be in a situation, maybe, you're a single mom, or, you got a gang of kids, you already don't have any help, you're living paycheck to paycheck, your bills are sky high, or maybe, you do have a good career, but, it's just not enough. Because we've heard a lot of stories about, two income houses where, You have like a doctor and a lawyer both living in the same house, and it's still not enough. They're still in debt. So what I would suggest is, if you're in case B, try to, bring down, the cost of everything that you're paying for every month. Maybe you don't need two cars. Maybe you just need one. Maybe you don't need that big house. Maybe, you need to downsize into something different. You see what I'm saying? If you are, let's say a single mother, and you got a gang of kids, and you're already up to your neck with bills and living, you may have to you may have to figure out a plan on that. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It is possible. You would just really have to, A, figure out what country you want to go to, B, what their cost of living is like, and C, what you could do remotely, like as far as like some online work. Maybe you open up a Shopify store, because you know what? Just because you're a single mother and you got a gang of kids, that doesn't mean you can't make money. Because all this is an issue of money. That's it. So if you can find a way to make money, you can find a way to get your ass out of America. So, open up a couple of Shopify stores, get on YouTube, invest some time in YouTube looking at different gurus who've done it, and then, put away some side cash to where you can actually, invest in that store. It may not be a lot. Get some family members that can possibly, loan you some money to get those stores off the ground and make it happen. There's a way for everything that you want to do. Anything in this world that you want to do, you can actually get it done. Believe it or not, and it doesn't matter how rich or how poor you are. You know what I mean? It really doesn't matter. It's just a matter. Buenos dias. Buenos dias. It's just a matter of desire. You know what I mean? Desire trumps everything. And if you have the desire to do it, you'll get it done. It's criminals out there that wake up every single day and they desire, to hit a lick, and they get it done. Everything that happens goes off of desire, whether it's good or bad. You know what I mean? Once you get that fire in you, you know what I mean? You can make it happen. Get that second. So even if you don't have kids, you're just a single guy or a single girl, and you wanna get out of here. Get that second, get that third job. Put away some money. Save up that money, or figure out how to multiply that money and get out. Because this is the thing about America. America's decent right now. So which means now is a time to get out. Now is the time to get out of America. If you want to get out of America, now is the time, because there's coming a day, a time and an hour to when you won't have the means to get out of America. You're not going to have the means to do it. It's not going to be possible. And, that's just something you need to sit with. Now is the time to do it. When calamity hits or calamity falls, that's not the time to try to make an escape plan. The time to make an escape plan is now. Why everything is calm, why everything is steady, why everything is, good. You know what I mean? So that's when you want to start looking into, getting out of America. And I urge you to do it now. While you can. Because this is the time to do it. If you're in the stock market, you're making a little bit of money, or if you got your stores running, you're making a little bit of money, put that money away and get out while the ship is at dock. Because once this ship sails, that's it. That's it. They're going to lock you in there. You're going to stay locked in there. They're going to pump you with, some more, medicines that you probably might not want. That's if you want to keep your job or if you want to eat. They're going to tell you where you're going to live. They're gonna take from you what they need to take from you. And bada boom, bada bing. And that's how that show's going. We got a gang of movies that show you how things are gonna fall down, in the time to come. So, that's something you may want to consider. Something you may want to consider, man. Here, on the far side of the world, in Mexico, is all good. See, the thing is with these people, they're used to living on scarcity. A lot of them. Not all of them. You got a lot of rich people. But a lot of them used to living on scarcity. So they're not going to be in no, and a lot of them grow their own food. So they're not going to be out here fighting for food and fighting for internet and fighting for, electricity and coffee shops and all that other nonsense. No, they don't need to get down like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, food for thought. Don't let your fears keep you prison in a country that's already treating you like a prisoner. You wake up every single day. You go to that job that you hate. You make just enough money to barely live. To barely live. You have to work 6-7 days a week. You don't see your family. And after all that work, all your money goes to bills. You're living to pay bills. I was in that situation. I was living to pay bills. And one day, the Most High just said enough. We're not gonna do this anymore. We're gonna take a chance, and we're gonna do it. And I did it. And I've never been happier. I didn't want to come to Mexico at first, because I would definitely be the minority. I didn't know people here. I didn't know how they were gonna receive me. But you know what? I took the dice roll. It's been the best bet I've made so far. You could be in the same situation. All right. So until the next one, this is the Ordinal. And hopefully we'll see you outside of America.